Hey, so greetings and thanks for everybody for taking the time to get on this call. So we're gonna have we're gonna have a working session here. What we're doing right now is that we're writing this application in Flutter. So this is the kind of example that we try to see. So far we kind of have everything kind of going the way that we need to go it, right? So this is the code responsible. So as we kind of go along here, what I want to try to do is that I want the code to try to update it as we kind of go along here. And then I think what I could do is that I could just toggle, the device back and forth just to see what we're working on, right? So basically, where we kind of left off was that we wanted to try to colorize, wanted to try to give color to everything here. So before we kind of didn't have any color, right? So I'm just gonna take it out. We're gonna see what that looks like. So everything was kind of white, but now I kind of gave it this. So I made this required the tile color. This is needed, and then to access that value, you need to use widget because this is a stateful widget. And now I'm using RiverPod for state management. So anytime you see consumer stateful and consumer state, and then consumer stateless widget, just know that they're stateless widgets, and we're just using RiverPod just to help with state management, right? So I'm going to go ahead and uncomment that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and uncomment that. So now I think the next thing that we kind of see is that we had a little padding. So we had a couple of designs. I think first we wanted this second tile, this part of the tile to have its own. We want this tile to have its own section, right? And then like to be background, and then we wanted like the padding. We want this border radius, and we want to kind of have the padding, right? So hopefully we could do that, and then that'll be the video. So we're gonna see. So let's first start on that border radius. So ultimately, like each card has its border radius, and I think it has a little shadow going on, right? I want to focus on, So I think with that is going to be the song tiles. So each one of these are like song tiles, and then as you click play, we'll see what that looks like. But right now, for the border radius for this whole thing, right? So it's a sized box, right? And let's see if we can get the decoration. Yeah, I don't think we can. And then we're looking at, we were kind of looking at some of these, and I rather just straight use container sometimes, but is what it is. So let's wrap the whole thing. All right, so I think if I see here, it's high. So it's the color is the widget tile color, and now I gotta give it think a border radius, and I gotta see what this is about. It's a border radius geometry. All right, so grab it. Hopefully it's straightforward. If not, I'm gonna have to dig into my notes here. And I think one thing I want to do is I want to open up my notes so I can have it side by side. All right, so now I have my border radius geometry, and then I think what I want to do here is okay. So yeah, I'm about to look at my notes a bit. Right. So I'm not too familiar. So while I'm waiting for on that side to try to search up, I want to try to provide a little padding, right? So that's going to come separate in that box decoration. I wish it came the same, but I guess it's related to the container itself. So that's why they kept it separate. But you just have to accept it the way it is. So it's going to be edge insets dot all, and then I'll just give it a value of 5.0, and then you kind of see here I should make a spacing provider. If I kind of do this one more time, then I'm going to make a spacing provider. Hopefully that doesn't have to be the case. All right, and it's looking like that. Yeah, so okay. I think I have to provide a margin, but if I can. Ooh, it's not nearly obvious how to. Hopefully they accept edge insets. Yeah, so let's try to see if that kind of takes care of things. So I guess to space things out in Flutter, you actually want to try to leverage. All right, so by 8, so I think we're getting more of that. The LTRB. So left is going to be 0, 2.0, 0, 0. And then hopefully that kind of does the trick of what we want to do. And then we keep on getting this overflow. And I think what's going on, and then if I say 5, right, so it's kind of walking, right? So I think that's my pattern there. But I think this has to kind of respect, the height that it needs to have. And I think 80 might be pushing it off, so I might have to try to give it a flex. I think so. Or if they all get a flex, I don't think so. And then, yeah, so it looks like I kind of correct everything, right? So I definitely want to give this first sized box a flex of like 80%, and then I think the child is going to take up the rest. So there's going to be that. All right, so what I'm going to do is right, so what I want to try to do here is um, all right, so I see the code for border radius coming out. But essentially what I want to do is I want to try to look for this online. But I think for the time being, I'm not sure if you're going to really see anything. Then I think what you have to do is you have to provide a radius value. And then let's try to give it 10. And that should try to do it. Kind of do the trick for us. All right, so now there's that. So if you kind of say 5, I think this is what we want to try to work with. And then, yeah, I'm hoping I can make it without doing a provider, but I think we're gonna have to do that soon. All right, so now I want to try to get this to flex. So I gotta provide the flexible widget. So that's flexible. So I can say the flex is gonna be 4. Oh, that's 80%. That's what that should represent. All right, so that's actually kind of the goal that we had. So we allow that padding to kind of work for us at the same token, and then the margin is. And then I think if this is like the first one, it shouldn't margin out like that, right? Because I'm looking at the yeah, it's looking like it's like 20. It's really gapped out. So all right, so there's kind of that, but it's really not. Yeah, so and then I think the way to like move this list tile is a bit interesting, but all right. So I think with that, right, we gotta. I so with that now, I think I have to wrap this in a column. Then I think I gotta give it an opacity. Or let's see, Oh, it doesn't have it. So say container. Say decoration. Say box decoration. And then I want to say opacity. Ooh, it's not really coming out for me. And then there's also gradient I kind of see, so that's really cool. But yeah, it's not really indicating that. There's a box shadow of something that we really, really want to try to use later. But right now, let me try to see. Looks like I have to get wrapped in an opacity widget just to do it. And then I think I'm kind of doing it wrong. I don't necessarily want this to have an opacity. Yeah, so I don't want to necessarily. I want to try to make this darker. So I say. All right, so as we kind of continue here, so there's my border. So basically, what I want to try to do is I want to try to give this a color here. Then I'm not sure if this colors, and I need to give this thing a post opacity, right? So if I say black, see how that looks, right? So there's that, and then I need it to make it opacity. So I think here's what I need to do. So I say 0.5, and then hopefully, it kind of saves my text. So yeah, it's looking like my text is like blending out, right? So what I essentially want to do is